That is, going into a department store or a shopping complex and standing in front of the directory, and there it is, the red arrow or the red dot which says, "You are here." And around the red dot and the red arrow is the whole cosmos of the department store or the shopping mall. And I can go somewhere else, and there it is, the red dot and the red arrow. You are here. And there, another orientation. I'm still here. What a wonderful metaphor for life and where we are now, because wherever we go, we're always here. The here-ness is unchanging, but the orientation of the wholeness of the universe, the cosmos, is different. So we have this question, what is the relationship between this here-ness and that changing universe, that movement of life? Where do the laws that we know so well, because we've been part of them, affected by them, all of our life, action and reaction, karma as it's called, where do these laws fit in to this state where we're always here and everything is always moving? In a long time ago in old Hindustan, at a time when there was great richness, spices, jewels and gems from all over the world were brought to the great land of India. And it so happened that there was a certain Rajah who partook of all of these wonders. He had a diamond or an emerald or a ruby to put in a different color of his silk turban every day. He had handmaidens from all over the world. It was rich opulence indeed. And he was handsome and all the other trappings that go with being Rajah. But there was one thing that floored his life, and that was that he had no sons. He had married numerous beautiful women from around the world, doe-eyed, slow-eyed, brown-eyed, blue-eyed. But all that he had begotten were girls. He could walk down his palace aisles and all the little people with jewels in their noses would call him father. But even now, when a number of his daughters had reached marriageable age and he was managing to slough off a few, there were still numerous little beings that he met in his day's journeys that belonged to him. One day, he called his confidant and advisor to him. And his confidant and advisor came quaking because he never knew what the Rajah was going to ask him. All these difficult questions about what colour turban should I wear today and this kind of thing. But this time, the Rajah was very agitated. He said, "You've got to help me. Is there anyone in the kingdom that will enable me to have a son?" Because, of course, in those days, it was not just the law that only a son could take over the throne. It was also necessary to have a son to complete the rituals that were necessary when you passed into the other worlds. So the Rajah confronted in a great state of agitation. And he said, isn't there a wise man in this kingdom who can help me? He said, look, this is what I found in my beard this morning. A white hair. I'm getting on. Well, the advisor said, yes, sire, there is an old sage who lives in your kingdom, who it is said without cost will give advice if asked. Bring him to me immediately, said the Rajah. Now. So the advisor in confident post-haste went off to ask the wise man to come. Well, it was a number of days' journey away, and it was expected that he would not arrive for at least 4 or 5 days. The Rajah couldn't sleep. He could hardly even eat. And then the day came. There he was in his chamber, and the advisor came up and knocked tentatively on his door and said, sire, he's here. He's waiting for you in the throne room. So hastily the Rajah put on his favorite silk turban and the diamond pin that went in it, and he went down. And there was Sage, sitting cross-legged on the floor in front of the throne, in seemingly a state of bliss. But as the Rajah made his entrance, the sage opened his eyes and gazed at the Rajah with an unblinking look which made the Rajah feel somewhat uneasy. But then the old sadhu spoke and said, speak, ask me your question. So the Rajah babbled out what his concern was, that he had no son to take on his lineage, nor to undertake the necessary rituals when he passed over. This sadhu went into a deep silence for a moment and sighed. And then he opened his eyes and said, you have to get rid of it. You have a spell on you. What is it? What is it? What is it? Said the Rajah. Tell me quickly. What am I cursed with? The sadhu said, you have in your treasure chambers an emerald scorpion, which was taken by devious means by one of your ancestors, unknown to you. But this emerald scorpion is the good luck of a family who was equally as wealthy and esteemed as you. If you return this to its rightful owner, I guarantee you that if you also marry the daughter of the one to whom it belongs, within a year you will give birth to a son. Well, the Rajah was delighted. He went off effusively saying, I will fill your mouth with gold and jewels But after his ranting he noticed that the sadhu was getting very angry, and so the Rajah was a little bit contrite and said, sorry, Reverend Sir, I realize that you desire nothing. And then with his own hand the Rajah took the sadhu down to the palace kitchens and fed him the little simple fare that was all that he was requiring before departing. But as soon as the sadhu had left, the Rajah got his assistants around him, said, "Come, we're going right now, get me my favourite steed." So, as the story goes, they made post-haste to the place where there lived another Rajah. But when they arrived there, they saw that the palace was derelict, in sad need of repair. And when they were finally ushered into the presence, there was the Rajah almost in rags, and a comely daughter sitting by the window stringing beads. The Rajah very hastily said, "I have brought to you something which it is believed has been taken wrongfully from you. Here." And he handed to the beggarly Rajah the emerald scorpion. Well, an amazing thing happened. Before their very eyes, the derelict palace became a wondrous edifice similar to his own. Handmaidens and servants bringing platters of wonderful, delicious food came by. And the comely daughter, instead of wearing a simple shift, was wearing a wedding gown. Of course, the Rajah and the daughter were married, and within a year a son was born to them, and within 3 years 3 sons had been born. When we view this story from the position in which we now stand, where here-ness is the unchanging reality of our life, and wherever we move, that here-ness is still there, even though the orientation of the reality in which we find ourselves is changed within the totality of the wholeness that we have attained in our long journey on our spiritual path. But how does this now, this karma, these laws of life as they were for us before, how do they fit? We know they're part of the movement of life, but from this viewpoint of here-ness, they no longer give us the same perspective. Where does this story of karma, or so it seems, fit in to our understanding of the laws which are now appearing differently for us in this state of here-ness? What is karma now to you? Cause and effect, comings and goings, here and there, right and wrong, positive and negative.